Zeos, do speakers. Zeos, do your speaker wall. Zeos, we want to see you do a speaker wall. That's all you people on the glass. It's all you people on the glass. It's Kaz and AI. Zeos, link to Kaz and AI's channel. All right, we're going to take a walk through my entire speaker collection. And this is going to take a hot minute. I'll probably start here in the closet, where if I turn this light on, oh God. Yeah, for those of you who don't watch my live streams, this is where Zeos keeps his test equipment. I haven't pulled a couple of these things out in a while. Some Audio God stuff, extra 789, my original 789. So up there, I've got a couple mica MB42s, maybe even MB42X, and maybe even some MB42s up there, like original ones. There's a single Fluence SX6, because I've had that one for years. I brought that when I moved to this apartment. That's all the speakers that are up there. It's just sort of like the weird collection of mica stuff. These, hi baby. We're gonna see your big brothers in a little bit. These are the Swan DIY 3.1s, and they're too big and too heavy to go on the wall, and they're too ugly as well. But they're here, and I don't think I'd ever get rid of them. I might donate them to someone who needs a set in my family, but that hasn't happened yet. So Mica's Fluence, that. The actual wall and why things are up here. Number one, I am trying to make the wall beautiful. Like, that's part of this. That's part of this hobby. It isn't just like, oh, this sounds great, but it looks like shit, i.e. those. I never got around to finishing them, so I would want to do that before I grace the wall with them. However, the wall is full, and we'll start on the left. Buchardt S200s. Danish, 6.5 inch. One of the most interesting design principles I've seen in a speaker, where they use this very small 3/4 inch tweeter in this insane dish waveguide. And what that does is it allows this speaker to project at this sort of like angle, like they measure with the moving microphone. They know what the wave pattern is for the 6.5, and they literally matched it by creating that tweeter with this waveguide. And it's got a rear facing, I would love to pull these off the wall like I did the headphones, but I don't want to die. So we're just gonna point and talk. You can click links if you want to see the backs of any of these. They'll be in the description. They have a rear facing oval passive radiator. And these are probably one of the best speakers. We were done. We should just stop here. All you got to know is that all these speakers try to beat this one, and most of them don't. But like the headphone wall, there isn't a best anything. Everything's got its own little place in this world. It's got a lovely place in this world. I forget what she said. The fluids, and I forget the model number of these. Zeos, remember the model number while you're doing the editing so you could actually find a link to these. And these are self-powered. These are passive. These are self-powered, and they were one of the first coaxial AMTs I've ever seen. And when the company said, which ones you want, I'm like, those. And these are painfully neutral. Like, absolutely, I can't stand listening to them, but I love them because they're honest. Like, bad recordings are just like, by the way, your fucking music sucks. These are $1,100 a pair also. These are, I do pricing? I'm not going to do pricing. You want to see pricing, you click, because pricing will make me sad. Although I did, like, a lot of these are donations from companies, because number one, they don't want them back. What good is a set of fluid monitors that Zeos has had? You know what kind of weird fluids have been in it and on it? No, you don't want that. Weird front volume gains. I've not seen many powered monitors with front volume gains, but there's one. And so these are like absolute, I don't want to say absolute luxury, because we're going to get to the 300s, and I think those are more luxurious than this. Okay, I thought that was tilted for a second. Yes. I will never sell these Jamo C103s, because these are the ones that are in walnut, and you could just barely make out this beautiful walnut veneer and real face plug and that tweeter, which is floating on a rubber membrane so it doesn't vibrate. And I got them for $129 a pair, and I was like, fuck. And then I sold a bunch in the yard sale, and everyone got angry at me because apparently that's wrong. Meanwhile, I announced it like 7 times. And after the 7th announcement, I was like, you know what? I'm just buying like 5 sets. I'm buying them. I sent one to South Africa. If you can, Don't. I bought them for $129 a pair. I think I sold them out of the United States for like $650 or $700 a pair, and it cost me $350 to ship it, and I paid that shipping. So hoorah! But those are like a giant. Like I sold my lesser, my C93 dark apples to keep these walnut C103s. I should probably do the thing I did where I just checked every speaker and then came back, but fuck it. Yeah, no, these are giant sounding. Even though that's a 6.5, and that's a 6.5, and that's a 6.5. There's only how many more 6.5s? 1, 2, 3. Actually, quite a lot of 6.5s. These are the biggest sounding speakers that I have. I mean, like these are big speakers. We'll get to you, but those are big speakers. They just ruminate. They sound like you want to listen to nothing but the biggest organs ever on them. I should take them down. Stop thinking about that right now. Atom T5Vs. So the Atom T5Vs are a powered studio monitor. Again, passive, powered, powered, powered. These were one of the biggest surprises I've ever gotten in a speaker. Because up until these Atom T5Vs, it was always just JBL 305s. That was it. You had no other options. You was JBL 305s. So for $400, it was like, you better perform well, because usually 305s run about $300, and these beat them in depth and image handling. And the 305s, and I have a set of 305P. No, those are LSR 305s. The other one's over there, and I'll talk about those. But these do just a wall of enjoyable sound. They're super deep. Like, do you understand that these are touching the wall and these are touching the wall? They're the same depth as those. They're like this deep. So they throw incredible low end. And I think they're more of a fun speaker than you usually get out of a powered monitor. They're more fun than the JBLs. How is it even possible? Germans made them. I guess Germans know how to party. All right, moving on. Buchardt S200s no longer sold. Front firing 5 1/4, big silk dome. Rear firing 2 passive 5 1/4s. So it's a very unique speaker. I love the matte white. Love the matte white. They're such a striking, like, high-end speaker, and obviously they're upside down because the tweeters are usually on the top. But this is ear views, and if the speakers are upside down, you'll fucking know what you're talking about. So I don't. You know what? It's been a while since. Usually my takedown speakers for, like, I need to impress people by having something on my desk that, like, just exudes that I'm a smart, charismatic, and wealthy individual, and I got to pull those down. And they don't sell them anymore. There is going to be a Buchardt 250 at some point. He has not told me when. I know the S500 is out, which is a self-powered version of the 400. But those are supposed to be at Axpona, and that's not happening right now. Oh, JBL Studio 530s. These. And despite the fact that they're literally the tallest speaker here, if I could do this without knocking them down, that is only a 4-inch driver. 5 1/4? What are you? You're so small. You know what? Maybe you're 5 1/4. Are you 5 1/4? You're so small. You're not a 6.5. I don't remember. How's that? I don't remember. It's got to be 5 1/4. I must have misspoke. That means I misspoke when I was talking about the center channels. That's very precarious because the top of that speaker slopes down, and that one's sitting on the front like 2 inches. So let's never touch those again. And I have a brand new set of those in my other apartment, and like in the box, like I'm never gonna open it. Like that's forever. Because these were the first speaker that made me spend big money on speakers. Paid $600 for this set, and every penny they're worth. So even though it's only a 5 1/4, it's super fucking tall. It's got that massive waveguide, and nothing sounds better on a desk except for CAF LS50s. And I don't have a set of CAF LS50s, so you guys win. Amazing. Just like the wall of sound, like that's the biggest sounding speaker, but that's the most evenly spaced sounding speaker. Like things just appear in front of you. All right, stepping over, not stepping on everything else. Buchardt S200s. Now this is the Mark I. These are the originals. These are the first pair imported into the United States. This pair. Not this model. This pair was the first pair of Bucharts ever. In fact, I was the first person to review Bucharts in America. He was some weird Danish guy that was like, hey, you want to review my speakers? And I'm like, maybe? It's like, well, you'll pay half price. And I'm like, all right. So I literally had to pay him to get these pairs of speakers. I paid him half price because it's Danish speakers, which I had a faith in. And I figured even if they weren't great, I could sell them in the yard sale. I think the yard sales were just starting back then. And I figure if I pay half price, if it's I think this is a $1,300 speaker, maybe I can get $800-900 for it, maybe make a profit. I'll never fucking sell these speakers. I'll never fucking sell these speakers. These speakers I'll never sell. And I want to point something out. They're also touching the back wall. Now, granted, there are speaker terminals, but they stick out the farthest because they are basically a huge square. They almost stick off past the edge of my fucking shelf. They are as deep as they are high, and they have a single port and no speaker. I'm going to make sure I'm not contradicting myself from the past, but I'm pretty sure no speaker throws the low end that those speakers throw. And that alone is worth keeping them. And then you add this wild fucking, those are the most qualities. That is straight up audiophilia, where this is more accurate. I know that 400 is more accurate. The 300 is something I'd probably want to listen to more often. And this is the Mark 1, which means you got to put about 1,800 watts into it, which luckily I have at least that much in the living room. And I've actually blown one of those drivers out because I fucked up and I forgot to put the limiter on for Mad Max Fury Road, and it tried to play 8 hertz at like this insane amount. They're delicate speakers. The surrounds, if you touch the surrounds, that's a stiff surround, that's a stiff surround, that's a stiff surround. That's like a baby's, like just a little baby's eyelids. They're so soft. I don't know why I know what that feels like, but that's what it is. These are delicate speakers that you need to put 1,000,000 watts through, and then you get this incredible fucking sound out of them. And that's real, real wood and everything. I'm really trying not to kick things. CAF, Q100s. I wish you could still buy them. You can't. Front ported, 5 1/4, coaxial. Also relatively deep. I think a square again, but obviously shorter, so the square doesn't really. And just that silver line and the asymmetrical, like it doesn't end. If you have a budget and you're looking for like on your desk, there was nothing better. The new Q150s are out. They're not as pretty in my opinion. They don't have a front port anymore. I believe they just centered the 5 1/4. Now it's just a box. I don't think they're front port anymore. And I've listened to the bigger brothers, and I didn't like them as much as I do this series. So this is a speaker that I would gladly upgrade to the newer one if the newer one I thought was better than this one, but this might not be better than this one, so I'm not going to. Emotiva Airmotiv 6s. Passive, self-powered. Emotiva Airmotiv 6s were purchased after I bought my Airmotiv 5s, because the Airmotiv 5s, which I did sell, and that makes me sad. Anyway, the Airmotiv 5s taught me that, hey, Emotiva can do some shit. You might want to listen to their bigger ones. And I bought the 5s and then the 6s immediately, like a week later. Those are one of the most powerful speakers ever constructed by humankind ever. And what do you mean, Zios? Well, I believe the numbers are like 200 watts for that driver and 100 watts for that tweeter. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. It might be 100, 100, 100, 100. There might be there's 400 watts. Like when you put that on, there's 400 watts internally built into that self-powered monitor. And that tweeter, that AMT, if you look at their current speaker line, their current speaker lines of AMTs like that size, like this little size, like the size of a thumb. But meanwhile, only that Airmotiv 6, and then I think the Airmotiv 8, the Stealth 8, has that. And oh my God, I had these hooked up recently when that had a failure in that Martin Logan. I'm like, I need to take out a speaker. I don't want to put my own spot. I said, fuck it, I haven't used these in a while. And I hand to the audio gods, not audio god, not audio god, but hand to whatever. These are the loudest speakers. You can put so much punishment into them. You just feed them signal and turn it up. And it gets to the point where you're actually frightened, not of you damaging the speakers, but that you're going to damage your hearing. I went back to that and I was like, Jesus, I'm watching like Jurassic Park and the Tyrannosaurus yells and I had no center channel. So it's just these. It's just these in the front doing that roar. And there's no other speaker on this wall that can do what those can do as far as volume goes. If you said I have a gymnasium and I need to go and fill it with sound, nah, these are small, I'll take those. Those are fucking ridiculous. And they sound good. You got to tweak them a little bit. They're a little bit light in the low end, but that's why. It's because they get so loud. Usually it goes like this. Has great low end, can't get too loud. Or doesn't have great low end, holy fuck. Jamo S803 is probably one of the newest additions to this wall in general. Just, yeah. So these are the cheapest set that they make. And I've taken them down off this wall to just use on my desk because I just needed a speaker. And I am fucking constantly surprised at how good they are. Like, people have asked me recently, RB42s, Mica RB42s, which are fucking tremendous, or Jamo S803s. And I have to stop and actually think about it. These are a little more money than the Micas, than the RB42s, but they just, you can tell that the pedigree of this Jamo, this amazing, big, warm, just amazing speaker, you could tell they said, all right, you know what? Strip away all the things that cost lots of money, but make it sound the same. And then you have the S803s. Passive, by the way. And then we're active again. So yeah, I can't recommend they're gonna, like, if you gotta pick it up, if you put your hand on the front port and try to pick it up, that front port thing cracks out and you actually pull it out in your hand. Like, they're built cheap. But they come with those tweed grills, which I can almost, I just fucking up real bad. They come with the tweed grills. That pasta's like, oh my God, I love tweed, magnetic tweed grills. And then they sound good on top of that. Yeah, that's a wife pleaser right there. What did I break? Great. All right, finally, Mackies. These are the, fuck, what's your model number? I'm blanking. Wow. You're all yelling at me in the comments. Because these are the 6-inch for MR 624s. Boom. You know how many fucking numbers Zeos has to remember? You know how many fucking numbers Zeos has to remember? So many numbers. Anyway, those are the Mackie MR 624s. And Mackie sent me those. And I had no expectations for Mackie. Because Mackie, like, they don't even use their name on it. It's got a picture of a dude running. And those speakers hold the record for where these are the loudest speakers that I have. Those are the quietest speakers that I have. You could play them at this volume. You could play them in a whisper. And somehow the sound is full and lifelike. You could see the waveguide is so deep. How deep is it, Zeos? The waveguide is so deep. It's got this projecting, it's trying to be a JBL level, like, projection of sound. Where, like, that has a waveguide, but that has a real, like, long stretch. And those speakers are just the most quality, quiet music. Like, if I had, like, a nursery, and this is no shit, if Baby Zeos ever became a thing, Baby Zeos' room would have a set of Mackie MR 624s flanking the crib, obviously, but where the baby's head is, so he gets good stereo. And those would just be playing lullabies at the absolute most gentle, fucking piddling sound lullaby. Because it would have, they're doing either DSP correction or it's just magic, where even at low volumes, it like perfectly levels out and you feel like low end, even though it's whispering. Like, those are, I don't take those down nearly enough because then everyone will really play music quietly, but I've given a scenario where that is possible. That is Zeos's wall. But we're not done. We have a lot more to see. And I know you're all like, yeah, I'm gonna get popcorn and shit for this. Should probably address the elephants in the room. These Studio 590s, big, honkin' beasts. Dual ports, even though the port's only about that deep. Dual 8-inch. That horn tweeter, which I have a piece of cotton stuffed into, actually it's a quarter of a cotton ball. I specifically ripped the cotton ball in half, then ripped that cotton ball in half again. Shoved them in there, because this is where I was gonna build my sim racing cockpit. Which may or may not still happen depending on how VR treats me in the next coming weeks. But the goal was to sit here, look at my reflection, and when I started a 427 Cobra, die from the fumes of my own body melting because of these. And I bought these on a tremendous sale, $900 for the pair. And you know what? they still come up for sale every once in a while, and almost at that price. And that's fucking retarded. That's the most ridiculously low price ever for a dual 8-inch with this. These were $1,100 each normally, and that was on sale back in the day. So this is a $2,200 set of speakers that I got for under $1,000. You could still get them for a round. My only problem with them is this is where they sound best. Actually, even closer is where they sound best. Just like those JBLs, tremendous speakers, sound better up close. These, with this massive waveguide, you would think would be like, oh, I gotta stand back. No. Get up into it. Get right up into it. Say hello to my little friend. Oh, by the way, if you want to hide notes, right there, that's where you write the code. Pasta, it's written behind the thing, because this is a full grill that I have somewhere in the closet, I think. So yeah. Oh no, it's never gonna go back together now. Yeah, so that's where the secret bank numbers are. And in that one, though, I'm not gonna show you. I was considering selling these because I don't use them enough, but now they're actually hooked up to this. If I do, and I know this is gonna take at least this long to do with things go. This is my Audio Valve Solaris. Again, company donation. But it's a $6,000 DAC amp. It's the DAC's 1,000, the tube amps. It puts out this many watts per channel. 8. I could kill you with 8 watts. Oh, fuck. And the tubes haven't even warmed up yet. So that's 8 watts of tube, straight tube, not hybrid, tube power. Those are the most efficient speakers on earth. They're like 100 and something decibels per watt. So 8 watts is over 100 decibels. And since I'm at a meter, okay, I'm gonna just click that off. That, by the way, is from Grand Budapest Hotel. So yeah, that's goodbye. I'm never selling those. Just can't sell them. I'm gonna walk around the room. I'm gonna scan. No speakers. Sorry, Wiz. I didn't mean to cover your face. She's up because I'm gonna be doing a review soon. The only speakers in this quadrant is my old set of JBL LSR 305s. Been replaced by the 305Ps. If you like that artwork, by the way, go to my unboxing channel. Zeos, link the unboxing of the art so that people can download these pictures. Go to the video that I link in the description. There's a link in that description of the actual artwork, but I kind of want to send you to the unboxing channel because we need more people watching the unboxings. Those bought a long time ago and obviously fantastic, like almost never beaten. Still, even with the atoms in existence, these do a different sound, so it's not like they're competing. It's like, well, what's vanilla or chocolate? They're both ice cream and they're both delicious. Shut the fuck up and enjoy them both. No one has to win. But I have 2 of those, one there, and then one is tucked away neatly here in my rack. You like looking at my rack? And that speaker produce the same sound. The source is my living room computer, and that is for Ventrilo or Discord. I put an account in there that just plays the sound outward. So if Cheese is in vent, which he currently is, he'll come out in both rooms. This way, if I'm cooking, I can hear him. If I'm here doing work, he just gently talks out of the speaker. It's obviously turned down because it's in the corner. And so those are actually utility speakers, and those stay on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, because they never get warm. So we move on. And now we're going to leave this room, or wait, are we? No, because this is Zeos's computer. And obviously this is Zeos's computer for reasons. And you're like, well, Zeos, do you have any speakers? I don't see any speakers. That wallpaper will get used eventually. Well, actually, boom. These are the Swan M50Ws. And that's this pair. And these are those Edifier 350 dBs. I forget what the initial number is. But they're sort of like my desktop speakers. And by sort of like, I mean they... Leonard Skinner. Volume control here. Monitor goes down. Tweeters shoot underneath the screen. I'm about to do the review of them, and I'm about to basically say, hey, so these speakers, here's the sub for the Swans. You see there's a lot of random things on it. I think this is a 6.5. I don't think this is an 8. That's an 8. That's the Edifier. So I've got the Edifier 350 dB there, and that's not in use right now because I'm doing the Swans, and I've only been using those Swans for like a year and a half. And I'm gonna do the review tonight if I'm feeling energetic enough to rip this all apart. Because I'm gonna start literally by that and then move them there, and that's where Wiz is coming from. These little guys, $300, come with a sub. You shove it on your desk behind anything. I had them up today like so loud because I'm always afraid to turn them up because businesses are always open. But now we're on quarantine, so no one's around to fucking complain. And they're amazing. They are amazing. They are technologically slightly behind the Edifiers, but at the same time, well, you'll see in the review. I'm gonna link them. I'm gonna link that and the Edifiers. They're a full 2.1 setup. They're both $300. They're both competing. Living room. We'll start with We'll start with these, which you should all know are my Ohm Walsh 2000s. Now, they sit in this corner very rarely. But honestly, throughout the course of a year, maybe I get to listen to those for 2 months. Because Zeos is always working. Zeos has his VS Ultras here, which are in the yard sale, by the way. I have these Heresy 4s, which I might purchase, which we'll talk about those in a second. But the Ohm Walshes are sort of like my default speaker. They're what, when everything's gone, when it's time for Zeos to just be fucking done with listening and testing and try this out and break this in, it's Ohm Walshes. And the Ohm Walshes, everyone should know, are an omni or a semi-omnidirectional, where this hat, this top hat, is a downward firing 8-inch with a phase plug shooting into this giant box, which has a port on the bottom, and then sitting atop the magnet structure of that 8-inch, pointing this way, is a soft dome tweeter like this. And if you don't know what these can do, please go watch that video, because the Ohm Walsh 2000s are not like any other speaker. These speakers, like every other speakers, are like no other. Well, that's not true. A lot of speakers are very similar, but these are not. And these are my babies, and they work great in an untreated room, because a lot of people complain, Zeos, how could you even test speakers? You got an untreated room. Guns aren't a room treatment. I'll challenge you to that, but I mean, they aren't. But carpeting and walls and equipment to sort of break up things in a day bed doesn't hurt. But the Ohm Walshes don't care. In fact, they don't care so much, you need to put a glass window behind them and a stark wall, and you got to shove them closer. Get them into there. Let it use the surrounding environment to become the environment. Those speakers become the environment. If you move those speakers here, like where you would put like good speakers to listen to, like, I just want to listen to classical music, put them right here, they're useless. They don't even sound good. You put them further and further away into those corners, all of a sudden your whole room becomes a speaker. That's a good investment. I paid half price for those, by the way, because no one wants me to ship them back. I would have paid double just to not put them back in their wrapping. It was like in a garbage bag. We'll talk about the Heresies, because I might end up keeping them. They're not supposed to be up on these stands. These are Edifier stands. They're supposed to be on the ground on a slight angle. And they're old school. If you can't tell what old school looks like, they look old school, but these are brand spank me new Heresies. The magnetic grill and everything. And they're a giant rear slot port, dual binding posts for breaking up the tweeter and the woofer. And the review of them is coming. And I'm going to basically state, this is a spoiler for the review, they are absolutely worth $3,000. And hipsters are going to buy them, and it's going to be the best thing a hipster's ever bought. But then I'm going to recommend, if audiophiles want to buy them, and you actually care, there's several things you need to do, like add a sub, put them on a stand, and take away the tweeter and control it separately because it's too much at high volume. But that's it. Other than those three incredibly hard things to do, these are some of the best speakers I've ever heard. These! Because those fucking horns are just... I can hear everything. And they're so efficient. Actually, I may be lying. I remember when I said those are the most efficient. These might be more efficient. I may have to run a really long pair of cables out here to run these off the 8 watt. And they add class to any room they're in, except when you put them on stands. If they're just on the ground, it's like, oh my God, you're so hip and cool. Look at your vinyl collection. And look at those old speakers. Meanwhile, they're brand new and cost you $3,000. But they're made in America. So we'll move on. So I think we're done. I mean, Center Channel is an SVS Ultra, is not mine. It's getting sold in the yard sale with these SVS Ultra bookshelves. Check out those. There's no more speakers here. That iLoud, I just unboxed. That's the iLoud Bluetooth. And it is fucking ridiculous. I wish I had the iLoud micro monitors. Zeos is still going to link the iLoud micro monitors. Douglas Mark Stevens currently has those because he had them at RMAF. And I didn't get anything back from RMAF, and that was back in September. We've got Megamine under the table. Good luck with that. This is the Triangle AIO, and it's their Bluetooth Wi-Fi speaker. And I've been going in between my Echo talking to the iLoud and talking to this. And this has a couple little like niggling features with Bluetooth noise. And this has just overall amplifier noise. So I'm not sort of like super satisfied with either one of those. But when it sleeps, it goes away. So forget that. Kanto BENs. Rear channels, I've talked about these a lot in any of my home theater videos. And they're a terrible speaker. Terrible. I gave them a decent review, but it's basically like they have no low end. They're a sealed cube. And the actual, since this is a coaxial and this tweeter is inside this giant 5 1/4, it focuses the sound like a ray gun, and it hurts when it hits you in the face, but oh my God, the detail. So I use that to my advantage by putting it in the rear or on the side, putting it against the wall so it washes the wall with that amazingly murderous treble. And both sides do that, and I get this wonderful effect of rear channel blast. And call it blasting rear channel. So it just lines the entire wall and ceiling with sound. So when something goes by in a movie, it goes, fuck. And then we carry along to Mica MB42s. MB42Xs, I think these are the Xs with the crossover. I should talk about the, is my bathroom safe? Never know. I have little Kovo S speakers in my bathroom. A very bright bathroom now. So those are the smallest speakers I've ever recommended, other than the Mod House Cubes, which that video got pulled from the internet because lawyers, and apparently I played a song that no one liked. So Kovo S's, Mod House Cubes, two very small speakers. The Kovos are coaxial, like these are, but actually the Kovos are ported and have a wider range, and the Mod House are a single driver full range in like a 3D printed box or a woodcut box. And those things are actually quality, and they're good to support Mod House. Are we done with speakers in this apartment? I don't have any in my bedroom or the X bedroom. This is the X bedroom. This used to have speakers. There's nothing in here now. There's just a Dick the Birthday Boy shirt. If you don't know Dick the Birthday Boy, then get off my channel. All right, let's travel. We're traveling now. We're traveling to my bedroom, where Zeos would love to not have speakers in his bedroom or work in his bedroom, but he's got work in his bedroom. We'll start on the right. A company owed me a favor, and they said, hey, instead of giving you the thing, how about we give you these? So I got a complimentary pair of Kanto Tux in white, and I had to wait months for them to come back in white. And they've changed the finish. Just a little PSA. The finish on the originals that I reviewed was like an absolute dull matte white. And this is like, it's still matte, but it's smoother. And they've done a lot more finishing work. Like this used to have rough edges. All gone. Very clean. It's not as matte as it was, and I kind of liked it that way. But this pair had a driver that was off-centered, because you could see it's one of the prettiest speakers ever on earth. In fact, it looks like it's a render. And it uses a reverse waveguide here so that you can't see it. But this was slightly off-center in that one. I had to pull it all apart and redo it. But these are one of the only speakers that competes with the Vanuatu T1 Encores. Well, at least the T1s, the T1 Encores. And this has amazing features in the remote control. This is like a $700 pair of speakers. And it sounds like that. And it has features that, oh my God, face reveal. Baby Zio's face reveal. Okay, you guys could all, I don't care. Clip it, I don't care. There's the only face reveal I want on the internet. Look at that fucking guy. His hair is not that color anymore. PB Sports. You guys got way too much in this video already. So those I have here just because I have white sound rise stands and space. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. And I Bluetooth to those sometimes. This is a set of triangle thetas. And this is one of their bigger sets of speakers because I did the Boreas. I did the triangle Esprits. And I'm like, give me your next one. So they sent me a set from a warehouse or a showroom in California. These were disgusting. And I've cleaned them off and they're holding up pretty nice. And these are like $4,000 a pair and they're deep. And this is not a copy of B&W. Let me stop you right there. I'm gonna have to explain this in the review. But this is a tweeter and this cone shape is a standard audio thing, because sound travels forwards and backwards. And the only way to kill the sound traveling backwards is to have it bounce to a smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller thing to get rid of that. So, I mean, they could have hidden it inside the speaker, but they didn't. So basically, fuck you to B&W, because B&W is known for that. 6.5, not a real face plug, amazingly. Still disappointing thing, but that is the largest front port in a speaker ever. It's almost fistable, almost fistable. And these will get their full review, and I haven't moved them out of this spot. And they're being powered currently off of a Sonos Connect amp. My Christmas tree, by the way, it is April. My Christmas tree is a living Christmas tree, and it is still alive, just like the Portal song, because everyone in my family, their trees died like before Christmas, and I was like making fun of them. And I'm like, you know what? I bet my tree will last all the way through like January and February and March. And it's getting rained on, and it's lit all the time, and it's getting sun, and it's cold out there, so it's gonna live forever. Now, these. Hi, babies. I called you the best speaker ever. And that's why you're next to my bed where I sleep. These are the Swan M3As, and they are indeed one of the best speakers that exists ever. Self-powered. I'm currently sourcing them, and you'll see a stack of record players here. I've got the U-Turn here, which is not hooked up. And I got this Onkyo, which is dusty as hell, that is hooked up, but I don't use it. And I got a laptop here, which is not hooked up, because I've got Feifei here, is a Echo Spot.
Sorry, I don't know that.
And she's what's sourcing these. And if I ask the weather or the time, I have a $1,200 set of beautiful self-powered swans hooked up with this insane cable to this little dot, and that's all it does. And then sometimes it plays Run the Jewels. I didn't do it. I was hoping we'd just like, boom, Run the Jewels. So if you ever want to know where these are, they're in the absolute worst acoustical space. Even though this is full carpet and there's a bed in here and curtains, this sounds like shit. Here, these sound pretty good. These, not so much. And it's literally just a matter of moving them. If I move those to where these are, it would light up the room again. But this is not the apartment for that. This is not my acoustically perfect living room. This is sort of just like a holding area. So yes, I have 3 insanely nice pairs of speakers set up basically in my bedroom. This is a temporary table while I'm doing yard sale stuff. 3D printer I got to do a review on. Here's that Lego crane I built on live stream with Anime Girl sitting on it. But we're not done yet. Not even slightly, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're in the storage room. And just like a storage room should be, it's full of either the boxes, which I want to thank patrons and Subscribe-Star people for allowing me to rent 2 fucking apartments so that I could actually sleep without boxes, because the other apartment was all this, and all this was in that apartment too, and it was unlivable. So I have a room specifically for storing bullshit. Here are the boxes for the Thetas, the boxes for the Heresies, the boxes for the SVS, which are going to be in the yard sale. And then we've got just a couple more speakers left. My Swan M200s. And these were sort of like I knew of Swan and I liked Swan, but it didn't really own any. And Swan sent me those, but here's the thing. They emailed me, or someone emailed me, said, hey, do you want to try these speakers? I said yes, and it took 5 or 6 months before those showed up, and I completely forgot about it. And so they show up, and I hook them up, and they are just like divine is the word. Because they do, like, take the JBL 305, and then take the Atom T5e, and then smash them both together, so you get not only like a wash of imaging, but also the depth, and then make them out of like wood. Oh, I'm gonna pull this off there because I'm stupid. Make them out of like wood and on an angle, and oh my God, they're so dusty. I'm so sorry, baby. This is the non-powered version, and put a plaque on it. And the bass, the depth, the sound quality of those. And then I also have a set of Swan M300s that are not here. Again, those are at Douglas Mark Stevens III's house. Dougie! As soon as there's no quarantine, he's going to throw all my shit in his car and drive down here from Buffalo. But right now, I don't have them. Next to those, Vanatu T1 Encores, which are not the prettiest speakers. They're not ugly. They're not ugly. They're boring. This is a boring plastic cover with the thing, and then it's got a nice silver driver. They never got the driver wrong, but exposed hardware is not, somehow that's like, it's got that see-through grill and this, and this is an engineering feat. The T1 Encores are and will always be an engineering feat to fit so much sound. And by the way, powered monitor, powered monitor, powered monitor. I should go back and do the outside where it's powered, passive, powered. Those throw so much quality into the smallest package possible. And then they have features like the Tux have, a little bit more unrefined as far as usability. Like you could change settings, but it's like a knob and you got to hit a button and then you got to tap it 3 times. These are an engineer's dream. If they made a bigger speaker and had a little more room to work, a little more room to design like a pretty speaker, they would dominate. If they came out with a $1,500 speaker that used like an 8-inch 3-way, giggity, I can't even fathom what they could do. And I want them to do that at some point. The final speaker I think we've got, I don't think there's any of those speakers hiding in here with my bike with the flat tires. iLoud MTM. This speaker, which is a 2-way MTM, so it's, you know, mid-range, tweeter mid-range, ported in the back, self-powered, self-room correcting. These are, when you get them calibrated in the right spot, the most accurate speakers you could put in front of your face that I've ever heard. To the point where it almost is painful of accuracy. These remind me a little bit of the Fluids, where the Fluids were just like, and these you just want to absorb it. They are limited in their overall volume, and their low end starts to distort because they go flat down to like 35 hertz. And as much as that sounds like a joy, if you put it up to like more than 85 decibels at that, it just does not like you. It does not like you. So yes. Like I could sell, I bought these, by the way, all my cash, $700 for those. I was like, take the Patreon money. I need to know. Boom. As soon as they came out, that was the first thing, because the iLoud micro monitors, which are basically one driver and a tweeter and no corrections and Bluetooth and a little bit easier to manage, are fucking stellar. Actually, no, I do have one more pair of speakers, but it's not accessible right at this moment. It's the smaller Vanatu, the T0s. They're packed away in a box. They're the ones that are like an angle wedge, and you could turn it upside down, have it face forward. You could turn it back upside down, have it be on an angle. And those are tremendous. And old Princess Pasta drew this in a notebook, like in the corner. And she took me a picture, and then I cut it out and blew it up, and then it got wet. Oh, well. Anyway, that's all the speakers I think I got. Did I have enough? Danny, did I have enough, Danny? Oh, I promised I would do this. For those people who were asking several things about the headphone wall. I'm done with speakers. Speakers are done. Speakers are done? All right, starting right this moment, we're going to talk about my closet a little bit, which I built, which holds phase linears and subwoofers. And people were asking, where are the 280s? Here are the 280s. There are the retros. Here are the Yamaha MT5s. We've got the blonde B20s. This is sort of like I like these headphones, but I fucking have no space. Have you seen that room? And there's other headphones in here that I should talk about. I didn't talk about my STAX, because I'm stupid. Oh, the ESS 422H. I love these headphones. These are the wooden ones that if you change to the 1540 pads become like exceptionally good. Look at them in here with nuggets and everything. God, I have so many fucking headphones. I still have the Ears a Titch, which I was going to put in a yard sale. I was going to wait to see if Ears a Titch wanted to send me the planar version. They never did, so maybe I could just yard sale those because they weren't like that great. Here's all my Ship 9500s. I have 3 pair. Here are the AKG. These are the 6 ones. These are the cheaper ones. And then I've got the One More Triples. People are like, Zeus, where's the One More Triples? I thought you loved them. I do love them. That's why they're in the case and not strewn about in some pile. Oh, they're so pretty. There's not enough time in Zeus's day, and there's not enough free time where he can be like, oh, I don't have to listen to these 6 other headphones that I have reviews coming up because I do dailies. I should just go out and play with the One Mores. And these are the M&Os, and down here at the very bottom, there they are. So the M&Os, which actually dropped on crazy low sale on Drop. If I could find the link to that, I will. These are based on the RBH HP2s. So beryllium driver, these are bass queens. And this particular pair, M&O made them Bluetooth. And you could power them without the Bluetooth if you wanted to. And it's just, they're a fucking keeper. Obviously, they're in my closet. And then after that, probably my oldest set of fashion cans and the ones I would take out if I was going on a date with Emma Watson and I had to show up with headphones on. Bronzed Hazel B&O H6. Oh, the build quality, the style, the comfort, and the sound. And this Go case just came with it. I bought these from the guy. A guy was like, hey, you want them? I'm like, yes. These fucking things. Oh, I'd never sell them. Ever. Never, ever. Not in Bronzed Hazel. They made like 12 special editions. They made an Iron Man one. So those all stay in my closet. We have to go run real quick because I got to point at my STAX. Got to point at the STAX. Because I didn't point to Cat. Point at the STAX. Wallpaper available in the description. Check out my Patreon and Subscribe Star. Get these videos early. Here are the 207 Ultras. And they're Ultra because there's 3D printed pad holders. And I got these massive, I think, ZMF pads on it. And they were covered, so obviously I couldn't see them. So this is that pair. Where are my Alaras? Because the Alaras weren't in there. Someone said, oh, your Alaras are behind the monitor. And I was like, oh, are they? The case was, but they're not in there. All the accessories are. These are the base monsters because they're a vented 3D printed thing. And they're sitting here because that powers STAX, that monster that's powering those speakers. And the final pair, the L700s, in this pillowcase because you want to keep dust off of them because dust bad. With the slight pad spacers by SOCAS, one in red, one in blue. With the actual head tracking thing, the what was it called? The NX? Waves NX. That was the Waves NX tracker, so I could game in them. And I haven't used either one of these electrostats in a long while, and I really, really should. And that's it. Why? Anyway, that's it. Oh, and I forgot to say the Starfields in the IEM portion. And that's it. We've done it. We've done every speaker Zeus has. I hope. Actually, there is another pair of speakers down there that my friend gave me. And they're blown out. And I'm just like, eh. Oh no, they're not blown out. They're like a down firing 8 and a front firing 4 and like a tweeter. And those would be like, I have nothing to do. Take these out, review them, and then try to repair them or smash them with a hammer. What? Chewbacca's wishing us all well, right? Okay, baby, we'll end this video. If you'd like to subscribe to Princess Pasta or Chewbacca's Patreon, that's fine. Chewbacca doesn't have a Patreon, do you? Should I get you one? Should I get you a Subscribe Star? So anyway, check those out. They're in the description. They support this channel. $5 a month, get to see these videos early. You get to see yard sales. Look how good she's being. You're never this good. Yeah, that's what I thought. There's other benefits. The $10 tier, look at her tear up my Herman Miller Aeron chair. You hate them, don't you? Yeah. $10 gets you into the private Telegram chat. Those guys get everything early and direct access to me. And Hi-Fi Guides should have almost every speaker I have here on it. I'll have to go through and double check. Some of them are brand new. But that's like a shopping channel. It's kind of like PC Part Picker, but for audio. And it's beta right now, or maybe even alpha. So we're working on it. But check that out. Check out Hi-Fi Guides for PC Part Picker, but audio only. I know they've got an audio section on PC Part Picker, and I talked to the creator. I'm like, dude, this is a shit show in here. And he's like, it's whatever people buy. But that's a thing. The forums attached to that are fantastic. And if you want any and all the wallpapers I've ever used in any review or sound demo, that's on Patreon and Subscribestar too. There's an archive. You can look up the original artists if you want to follow them directly. And that's it. Up. She doesn't understand up. Good girl. All right, I'm done. We're done. I'm gonna be done now. I'll touch you instead. We'll touch you instead. All right, everybody. See you tomorrow for a normal non-hour-long video. Did you think this video was over? Only 50 minutes? No, I fucked up, but I had to come back 2 days later. All right. So I was in this room. You saw me in this room, and there was several things I forgot. Real quick. Boom. Mini rigs with subwoofer in this box. This is the coolest carry case. Oh, look at it go. It's a box, and a box, and a box in the red and blue. So that's where this lives. I don't talk about it a lot because the review had a shadowy past. But the Riva Turbo X Bluetooth speaker, like I've taken this out. My friend used to work with in construction, and he swears by this. This thing had a room at RMAF. Like 20. You're not a speaker. Anyway, this thing had a room at RMAF, and it's got like 5 drivers in all directions, and it actually sounds really good, and it's quality build, and it comes with this box. I'll link it, all right, tubers? Jesus. Actually, I think that might be crooked. I think it goes, yeah, that way. Anyway, that's what I was missing in here. Well, in here. Over here, behind this door, and I moved it to the front, I had my RB42s. Because everyone's like, Zeus, you didn't show any RB42s. Here are the original pair that I removed the thing and did the review of. I actually have a new pair or two over there, behind everything. So yeah, no, Jesus Christ. So these currently, as much as I love these speakers, are being used as a doorstop. Because that's what Zeus does in his place. And this, which for those of you who aren't following the unboxing channel, you should be. You should know what's in this black shaft. Here, let me show you. Well, at least I'll pull out one. Here's my custom insert. And then we reach into it. And giant horse still. Oh, no. Mini Rig 3s. The 2 Mini Rig 3s are stacked in here. And then the 2 purple subwoofers I purchased. 2. So this is a Mini Rig 2.2 in a shaft thing, and it's going to be a pain in the dick to get that in there. I leave it right here, and I don't leave it zipped up, so there's a lot of tension. I could carry that around. So that's literally like $600 in Bluetooth speakers. I only paid for the subwoofer portion of it, but whatever. So let's finally end this video, because after all of that, I rewatched it. I got all the links. I went, holy fuck. Zeus, you forgot the most important speakers. I'm gonna have to take it off my head for now, because we have to go down. We have to. Oh, there they are. The oldest of the old school will know what those are. Those are the Super Daytons. Echo, office lights maximum. This is not gonna help. We're in the depths here. Those were the original Dayton B652s that I combined, made a tweeter array, and those really got me thinking about audiophilia. Oh my God. Do you not like me on the floor? Is the floor bad? And those things I haven't pulled out in like 2 years. And I love the concept of it. Take a $30 speaker, multiply it. Actually, they're not a pair of speakers. Multiply it by 3, and then, you know, squeeze the tweeters closer together so that you don't have that weird effect. And just, that's it. Run with it. Is this your space? It might be in our space. Anyway, I think this is the official end of this video. I should build another Dayton array. Mica array? We tried that mica array, but DMS got all those failed micas and they all refailed. Okay, thank you. That was interesting. All right, so that's the end of this. So now you can go back to 5 minutes ago when this video was supposed to end and just go remember everything I said. Right, boopers? Links? Hi-Fi guides? Thank you for joining the channel. 2020, stay strong. 2020, live lazy, I guess. Well, all right. All right, bye-bye, boopers. Say bye. Say bye. Bye.